All right, welcome back to NerdVine, my lovelies. When this video posts on 23 October, it will be nearing Halloween time, and I figure what better time to talk about pairing sweets with wine. I just realized I should have said welcome back, my sweets. Nah, well, too late. Anyway, so Halloween is a traditionally a United States holiday, but it is finding its way to the rest of the world, albeit not always celebrated in a similar or identical fashion. But October also marks, in my opinion, the start of the holiday season. So you've got Toussaint, Hanukkah, Native American Heritage Month, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Kwanzaa, the winter solstice, Santa Lucia Day, Boxing Day, and of course New Year's. I probably missed some, and if I missed your favorite, please drop it in the comments with or without sassy commentary, totally up to you, and I will circle back to it. The point being, lots to celebrate, and usually lots of sweets. So I'm not a huge sweets person anymore. I used to be, so who knows what happened. But if you are, I don't want you to be deprived of wine or accidentally ruin your wine or accidentally ruin your sweets by incorrectly pairing your candies and your wine or your lollies and your wine or whatever it is that you're consuming. If you haven't yet watched the food and wine pairing video, I do recommend you go to the NerdVine channel page, give that a whirl so you'll understand some of the basics. I'm not super going to go over them, but we will be expanding on those in this hopefully quick video with some specific examples. So for this video, let's just talk basic factory candy, commercially made candy, not the divinity your grandmother is making or the sticky toffee pudding that your partner's friend's future brother-in-law made. Was that too specific an example? Because fret not, we will come back to it in another video. I did a little research, shocking, I know, that may or may not have been in depth enough to look at the most popular candies around the world. So the first research I found came from Candy Club, and their information seemed to come from a lot of relatively official looking surveys and very census type things. But pretty much all the results were just variations on chocolate bars. Save for China, who apparently loves milk candy, so I need to find out more about that. I'll post that article in the video description just in case you're interested. But the thing with chocolate, besides that I'm wildly allergic to it, so I'm probably not the greatest expert, is that it's not the chocolate itself that you need to pair, but what's been done to it. For example, a high cacao dark chocolate bar will have lots of bitter notes to it. And as you may recall from the food pairing video, this will decrease the sweetness of the wine, or at least the appearance of the sweetness, making it a great choice for sweet, fruity reds or even ports. Whereas a Reese's or Reese's peanut butter cup is milk chocolate with peanut butter, so you have more sugar, more fat, and you can risk something red and fruity that's not quite as sweet and perhaps has that hint of tannin. I actually just had the Napa Valley quilt at the ballet the other day, and I would absolutely pair that with a Reese's if I could, have one. Anyway, next best way to pick the factory or commercially made candies was by global search volume by keyword. So basically, what did people search for? And this I've been able to break into categories, sort of. Let's start with sugary, fruity, sort of non-fat candies. So under this category, we get, in their place numbers, number 25, Lifesavers, number 21, Red Vines, number 20, Mike and Ike, number 18, Nerds, number 17, Laffy Taffy, number 16, Starburst, number 15, Swedish Fish, number 11, Twizzlers, number 10, Jolly Ranchers, number 9, Airheads, number 8, Sour Patch Kids, number 7, Gummy Bears, and number 3, Skittles. Wow, okay, that was a lot. And for all of these, I'm going to look for something I want to balance out the sugar of the candy, and I want fruitiness that isn't overbearing or overly sweet to complement the fruit of the candy. So for these, I'm thinking Sauvignon Blanc for sure, possibly a nice light Beaujolais, maybe some Riesling. For me, this would need to be a dry Cabernet, and possibly even a dry Prosecco. My next category is honestly just the misfits, but I love a good misfit. These just didn't fit too well into any of the broad categories. Number 24 on the global search by keyword was Tootsie Pops, which are kind of a hard fruitiness with a chocolate inside. So that was really a tough one. I think I'd stick with that Beaujolais and maybe even a Lambrusco if I wanted a little bit of frizzante. Number 22 was Hot Tamales, which, fun fact, were my favorite candy as a child. Who knows? Anyway, because these are spicy, we'll be pairing them kind of like we pair spicy foods. So now I really wish I still had that demi-sec Gewürztraminer, But an off-dry Riesling would go nicely with these as well. Or like a very warm climate Chardonnay with lots of malolactic and fruitiness. And oh wow, actually that sounds really good too. Maybe I'll go grab some hot tamales. And of course, candy corn didn't make the list, nor did those pumpkins that are basically just fat candy corns. And I think it's because they're such divisive candies. But I like having maybe like 7 of them, and then I'm set. So I do need something to pair with them. A Chardonnay could work well here too, though I might go a little less on the mallow side because these candies can already kind of coat your mouth a little. Other options would be Prosecco or a Cava for some sweetie fruit flavors, and that the bubbliness will help cut the intense sugar of those candies. So our next category is chocolate that's just chocolate-centric. Hershey Kisses came in at number 14. Number 13 was Three Musketeers, which is just chocolate wrapped around chocolate. And M&Ms were number 5. I believe these are called Smarties in a lot of other countries, so just a candy-coated chocolate. So as mentioned, these are all milk chocolate for the most part with a little bit of fats and sugars in addition to that cacao bitterness. So let's think Pinot Noir, Merlot, and maybe even a Shiraz for a little variety. We will round out these candy categories with chocolate with stuff in it. Very official title. Number 19 was Reese's, which we discussed previously, pairing well with Cab. And then numbers 12, Butterfingers. Number 6, Twix. Number 4, Kit Kats. And number 2, Milky Way. And number 1 was Snickers. Now, Kit Kats and Twix are essentially just cookies that are coated in chocolate. And don't hate on that statement because you know I'm right. Pinot Noir would be great with both. Specifically with Twix, you could do a little bit sweeter than a Pinot, so think a warm climate Pinot or even a Madeira to complement the caramel. And then with Kit Kat, I would say maybe the Beaujolais again, possibly a Petite Syrah with either. I feel like Beaujolais is really having its moment at Halloween. And then Butterfinger is kind of a crazy one. I didn't actually know what the stuff in the middle is, so I looked it up, and apparently it's like crispyified peanut butter. Like what? As an avid peanut butter lover, I really wanted to do my due diligence on this one. So like a Reese's, it can go with a Cab, but I'm thinking since it probably doesn't have that same creamy mouthfeel, you could go a little less tannic and maybe even a little sweeter. So if you're wondering where to have your sherry, I feel like the sherry could go well with these Butterfingers. Milky Way and Snickers are basically just the same candy. So again, no hate. They're like the same candy bar. It's just one has peanuts. So with these, I would think you're going to need to factor in chocolate, nougat, caramel, and an optional peanut. So that is a dessert of desserts. So these could probably take on a tawny port if you're yearning for some sweet versus sweet action. This could also be your chance if you have a Sauterne on hand and haven't been sure what to do with it. Try to pair it with these. Now, of course, you can do a fruitier Cab here as well, especially since I know the ports and the Sauternes can get a little pricey. So I'm thinking look for a Cab Sauv with just a little bit of Cab Franc blended in, and maybe from a warmer climate. This will bring the tannins down and the fruits up a little bit. Okay, I wanted to keep this a little shorter after last week's whopper of a video about champagne. So we are just going to wrap this one up with those factory, commercially made, mass-produced candies. As we get deeper into the holidays, I'll dig up some more on the homemade sweets. Actually, I think I mentioned Divinity earlier, and I don't even remember what's in it, so I'll have to look that up anyway. And we can look beyond the candies and lollies into tarts, cakes, cookies, pies, puddings, etc. Also coming up are cremants and French wine law, food pairings for the holidays, actual like meal food, not just the sweets, red blends, and more. And I can't wait to keep like discovering and nerding out with all of you. So don't forget to like and subscribe and tune in next week for more grape juice. Cheers!